Hello, my name is Arias, and I'm going to be talking to you guys today about keyloggers. What is a keylogger? A keylogger is a mechanism that records every keystroke typed into a computer. They could be hardware or software based, and they're used as a monitoring tool by employers, law enforcement, and parents to enforce existing internet policies. Hardware keyloggers are very small, easy to conceal. They're about 1 inch big, and they can be installed at the BIOS firmware level, which involves opening the computer and attaching it to the motherboard. They can also be installed inline between a keyboard and a CPU, or wirelessly. Packets can be sniffed when they're transmitted over a wireless medium such as Wi-Fi. However, most of them store data physically, and they have the advantage of being able to start recording the moment a computer is turned on, so sensitive information such as the BIOS password can be recorded. However, physical access to the system is required. On the other hand, software keyloggers are useful for recording data beyond keystrokes. They can also record screenshots. They can also record clipboard data. They can also record media being streamed to the computer or being uploaded from the computer. The data logged is transmitted as opposed to being physically stored within the system. So physical address to the target computer is not required. However, you do need to make sure that the keylogger software gets installed. But once it gets installed, it's sending you all the information that's logging to a target email address. And you don't even have to touch that machine anymore, or not even physically touch it at all. So it can operate virtually undetected by the targeted user. So in this video, I'm going to be exploring one of these software keylogging tools. And if you don't mind, I'm going to turn off my camera so it doesn't take up a lot of my screen, and you're still going to be able to hear my voice. Okay, so the keylogger I have chosen to show you guys is the Spyrix free keylogger. Now there is a paid version of this, which is way more involved and has a lot more features, but for the basic thing we're trying to do here, the free keylogger should be enough. So we open up the program and we see that we have something called a wizard. Let's click on that. Now when you click on next, I'm gonna hide it everywhere. I mean, I'm installing it in my own personal computer, but let's assume that this is a PC in a home and you're trying to monitor your kids or your little sister. You don't want them to know that you are recording every keystroke they type. So let's make it stealthy. Now, this requires an authorization, so yes. Now, the way the stealth mode can be accessed is you have a hotkey. In this case, let's leave it at Control-Alt-A, and a run command for the CMD, which is going to be run key. Now, let's set up a password. I'm going to use 123456, and let's go to the next step, which is going to be, oh, here we go. So basically we are setting up when our screenshots to be captured, when there's a change in the window, when there's a change in the clipboard. This is the feature I was explaining earlier about software keyloggers being able to record more than just keystrokes. I mean, we're looking at one here that records window changes and records clipboard changes. And obviously small size screenshots are alright. And we're done with the wizard. And you noticed how the desktop icon that I had right here just disappeared. We got our password prompt right here, so let's go ahead and enter our password, and we see our program appear in its full glory. Now I'm going to go over how to access it when it's in stealth mode. For that, let's go ahead and put it in stealth mode, which is done by clicking on the hide button. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's nowhere to be found, which is, see how it's not on my taskbar. Obviously, it's not on my desktop, and it's also not in my task manager. As you can see, let's scroll all the way down, which would be where the program logically would show up since it starts with an S, and we see that it's nowhere around there. So now let's see about getting back to it after it's been closed. I mean, we can see that it's not anywhere on the desktop. So we can press our hotkey, which is a combination of Control Alt A, and we get our prompt. Let's enter our password and put it back into stealth mode because there is an alternative way to access the program. So let's say that we have had this program for a while installed in a computer, and we get our reports by email. We'll get back to that later. And the point is, it's been a while since we have accessed the program. Physically on the computer it's installed on. So we have forgotten the hotkey. And we know the program is running because we're getting our updates, but there's no way to retrieve it. So how do we go about it? Well, it's very simple. We go ahead and open a command prompt and navigate to the folder where the program is installed. In this case, it's in my program files, and Spyrix free Keyloggers, the name of the folder. So we're going to type this command, KL, and we get the same exact prompt and the same exact program back. Let's do some testing about what the program actually does. Let's open up a Word document where I have already typed this is a keylogger exercise, and let's go ahead and save it. And we can see that it shows the entry as a WinWord, and the name of the file, which is test, the type of document, which is Word, and the content is described as this is a keylogger exercise. Now let's go ahead and open a new browser window. In this case, it's going to be Chrome, and let's navigate to youtube.com, and we're going to search for funny dog. And let's go ahead and minimize that as well. And we see how our page now shows that we went into Google, and we from there went to youtube.com, and then from YouTube we went to funny dog and we pressed enter. Now let's talk about some of the features available only for the paid version of the program. As you all know already, we're using the free version, and the only things we have available are the keyboards, events, and the screenshots. But there's a wide array of services available for the prepaid version. That would be webcam snapshots, clipboard values, web page visited, search inquiries, alerts, site blocker, even social network activities. We have monitoring Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, and mind you, even within Facebook, you can monitor. Let me go ahead and move this and shrink this a little more to the right so you can see all the fields. We see how we can log keyboard events, we can log screenshots, clipboard values, and this is all activity pertaining to Facebook, besides the activity pertaining to the machine itself. And same thing for MySpace, for Twitter, for Google+, for LinkedIn, and even IAMs. We have AIM, Google Talk, even obscure services, which like ICQ and Trillion. Let's talk about some additional features, for example, log delivery. Now, with the free version, the only thing you can do is pretty much you have to physically monitor the computer that you are logging. So that means that you have to have access to that computer, and every time you want to review the log, you're going to have to physically access the system and physically access the log within the computer. Now, with the paid version, the log can be delivered to you directly by email or by FTP or even by file sharing if you are within the same network. This has the advantage of, well, number one, convenience, because you don't have to physically access the computer every time you want to review the log, but also has the advantage of extra stealth because it makes your monitoring activities go a lot less detectable. Now, obviously the keyboard events settings we can access, the screenshot settings we can also access, but webcam snapshots, clipboard value, social network and IM, and history settings we don't have access to. Still, these are features that I consider worth mentioning because it's not just about recording keystrokes. It discriminates. They have grown very sophisticated compared to early keyloggers. Early keyloggers would be just a little program that would run in the background, and it would literally record keystrokes, whether they were command keystrokes or actual text or even wrong text. They would just record it all, dump it into a simple text file, and just give you a daily log or a daily report. So the fact that we have these options now in software that can distinguish between one type of application and another, and between what could be maybe a typo or a command combination of letters, the fact that they can distinguish between that and valid text input, I think it's worth mentioning. And this is definitely a very simple to use, simple to set up, and simple to monitor tool if you buy the full version. And even if you don't, if you just want to pretty much figure out who accesses your computer and what they do in your computer, you can do that with a free version as well. I sincerely hope you found this tutorial helpful, and my contact information should be within the file name. And thank you very much, and have a nice day.